Now at 5, Crawford County Commissioners discuss ways to improve the county's child care offerings. Plus, Jasper County tests their voting equipment, and the U.S. House plans to vote on a bill to protect same-sex and interracial marriages.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Crawford County Commissioners today discussed the county's lack of child care options. This is KOAM News at 5. The county has more than $2 million to add more child care, and commissioners are reviewing 6 applicants ranging from nonprofit organizations to private businesses to fund new facilities.
If you look at the data, I think within the state, Crawford County is not by far the worst county in need of child care, but we're still pretty deficit in this area. So as a county commissioner, we're looking to figure out a way to how can we take the $2.2 million and make a lasting effect for daycare in Crawford County.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more about how the county is deciding which organizations to choose. In just 2 weeks, voters in Missouri and Kansas will take to the polls for several issues, including local and statewide primaries. Election officials in Jasper County, Missouri, are making sure they're ready to go ahead of the big day by testing their voting machines. 2 local residents, 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, were allowed to run ballots with different markings through the machines to make sure the machines are working properly.
We have some undervotes, some undervotes, some people that put X's, check marks, and the whole thing is to make sure that when the machines read it, it reads it correctly, and at the end of election night when you do the reporting, we can be reassured that the election results are accurate.
For the August 2nd election, Jasper County will have new voting machines adapted for use by people with disabilities. It is very hot out there. Doug Heddy.
Across the region, triple-digit heat, day number 9 that we have seen so far this summer. So heat advisories in effect across the region, excessive heat warnings in effect in northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Besides that, nothing's going on. We have pretty much clear skies. We're going to continue to have, in general, clear skies for us tonight. A few thunderstorms will try to get going out across southern parts of Kansas, northern parts of Oklahoma. Those are going to stay to the southwest. Look at our temps, 102, 103, 104 degrees across the region. At least we don't have much humidity, so our heat indices pretty much match what our temperatures are. Through the evening hours, we'll drop back through the 90s, 80s, eventually mid to upper 70s for overnight lows. We're going to look at how long the heat's going to stick around here in just a bit.
Then sunflowers are a beauty of nature, but for Country Roads Family Fun Farm in Stott City, Missouri, the beauty is taking a little while to show. The triple-digit temperatures are making it hard for the sunflowers to grow. The farm brought in an old pumper truck to get water to their crops, and with their sunflower festival just around the corner, they're praying for rain. The owners are optimistic there will be sunflowers this year, but they're not sure how long the crop will last.
I'm certain that we'll have sunflowers. It does make me wonder whether we'll have the full field or whether we'll lose some. If we can get to them early enough, I hope to have all 4 quadrants in bloom. What I really want people to see is this epic story of survival that's going to play out.
The opening date for that sunflower festival is August 6th. Members of the U.S. House of Representatives are poised to vote on a bill that would protect same-sex and interracial marriage. And at least 17 Democratic members of the House were arrested during abortion rights protests in front of the Supreme Court. Natalie Brand reports from Washington.
As abortion rights advocates and Democratic lawmakers continue to protest the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the House is voting on a bill to protect marriage equality out of fear the conservative High Court could revisit other landmark decisions.
It simply says each state will recognize the other state's marriages and not deny a person the right to marry based on race, gender, sexual orientation.
Supporters of the Respect for Marriage Act note Justice Clarence Thomas's separate opinion suggested the court should reconsider past precedent, including same-sex marriage and access to contraception. But Republicans say the majority opinion did not go that far.
This bill is simply the latest installment of the Democrats' campaign to delegitimize and attempt to intimidate the United States Supreme Court.
Nearly 1 month since the Supreme Court's decision on abortion, patients and providers say they're navigating new restrictions and experiencing confusion depending on where they live.
Physicians seeing ectopic pregnancies or patients with sepsis or hemorrhage during pregnancy are literally calling hospital attorneys who, in some cases, tell them to wait until there is a higher chance of death before intervening.
During a House committee hearing Tuesday, lawmakers also heard from an OBGYN who opposes abortion.
It means that instead of defaulting to abortion as a Band-Aid for a variety of complex issues, we will now be working to identify innovative solutions for women today, their preborn children, and for future generations.
And while there's been bipartisan support expressed for family planning, House Democrats say they will put Republicans on the record later this week with a vote on guaranteeing access to contraceptive services. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Meanwhile, 2 Democratic senators introduced a bill to expand access to family planning services and birth control. Attorneys in the trial of former presidential advisor Steve Bannon kicked off opening statements today. Bannon is facing contempt of Congress charges because he refused to comply with a subpoena from the committee investigating the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol. During jury selection, some potential jurors said they have watched the committee hearings, but said doing so would not impact their ability to be fair. The White House released a new executive order relating to U.S. hostages and detainees. The order will allow the administration to impose sanctions and visa bans on those involved in hostage taking and wrongful detention. It also aims to create more transparency between the administration and detainees' families when it comes to sharing intelligence information. The White House says the order is meant to deter wrongful detentions and strengthen efforts to bring unlawfully detained Americans back home. Still ahead, the top toys way ahead of the holidays.
This remote control shark is expected to make quite the splash this holiday season. I'm Naomi Ruckham with a look at the hottest toys hitting the market.
And next in Health Watch, what a new study shows about the dangers of drinking alone. Topping today's Health Watch, the legalization of recreational marijuana led to an increase in traffic crashes and fatalities. That's according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Researchers looked at 5 states that allow the use of recreational pot and found a 5.8% increase in the rate of injuries from crashes. Fatal crashes jumped more than 4% after the start of retail sales of marijuana. The study includes data from Colorado, Washington, Oregon, California, and Nevada. Most young people who drink do it socially. Well, a new study finds that drinking alone can foreshadow troubles ahead. Reporter Harvey Biggs explains.
Well, when teenagers and young adults drink alone, it could be a big warning sign for future problems with alcohol. A new study from Carnegie Mellon University looks at the dangers of solitary drinking. Researchers followed about 4,500 adolescents starting at age 18 and tracked them for 17 years. They found the odds of developing alcoholism by age 35 were 35% higher for adolescents who drank alone and 60% higher for young adults compared to those who drank only in social settings. Casey Creswell was the study's lead author and says the risk was especially high for adolescent women.
The odds were 86% higher that they would have alcohol use disorder symptoms at age 35. So these young people are drinking because they feel depressed or stressed out or anxious or lonely. And we think developing that problematic relationship with alcohol puts them at risk for increasing their drinking and developing problems later.
Creswell recommends parents speak to their teenagers about better coping mechanisms.
Getting outside and getting some exercise, talking to a trusted family member or friend about how they're feeling, doing meditation. There's lots of healthy ways to cope with these negative emotions.
The study also found the pandemic has fueled the problem. Along with the increase in depression and anxiety, solitary drinking has been on the rise. Harvey Biggs, CBS News, New York.
Taking B6 supplements may reduce anxiety and depression. British researchers studied the impact of high doses of the vitamin on young adults and found they reported feeling less anxious and depressed after taking the tablets every day for a month. Study authors believe the supplement helps balance chemicals in the brain, which can inhibit certain impulses, leading to a calming effect for some patients. Avoiding too much salt is key to a healthy heart, but new research shows cutting back too much might actually worsen heart conditions for some. The new study published in the journal Heart looked at patients suffering from heart failure. Those who used some salt in their home cooking as opposed to none were less likely to be admitted to the hospital. Black patients and those under the age of 70 were most likely to benefit from adding salt to their cooking. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a judge sets a trial date for Twitter's lawsuit against Elon Musk over a plan to buy the company.
Plus, the heat sticks around for quite some time. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, turned out to be a super hot day for us today. Triple-digit heat across most of the region. That's why we have heat advisories and also excessive heat warnings in northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Now, the humidity is not extremely high, so it kind of matches what our temperature is, but when you get temperatures above 100 degrees, it's still enough to fire off heat advisories and also excessive heat warnings across the region. We hit mid-90s yesterday, but so far already today, well above 100 degrees, and it looks like we're going to see that over the next several days. Look at our temps. 99 Fort Scott, 101 Yates Center, Nowata at 106, Grand Lake 104, Anderson 103, Stockton is sitting at 101, so very hot, but the humidity is not that bad. Look at our dew points. We're sitting mid-50s, so if you look at our dew point scale, we're in that pleasant range. I know 103, 104 is not pleasant, but on the humidity scale, at least we don't have a lot of humidity. If we did, we would have heat indices 110, 115, but it's actually a reverse heat index. It actually feels, your body thinks that it's a little bit cooler than what it actually is. Not much, it's still hot. 103, wind's pretty much calm, but look at our humidity, it's sitting at 20%. Through the evening hours, we drop back through the 100s, 90s, 80s, eventually near 80 for an overnight low later on tonight. Nothing going on outside here. We have some clouds out across central Kansas. We may get a few thunderstorms, southern Kansas, northern parts of Oklahoma later on tonight. But you can see this big dome, a high pressure. As long as it's in charge, it keeps any storm systems from working in. So the jet stream way up north, so we don't get much action here. We just get the heat, somewhat humid, and a random isolated storm here and there as we go through the next week or so. Let's go through time. Temperatures drop back through the 90s, 80s. We are going to get some clouds in here later on tonight. There could be an isolated thunderstorm in our southwestern counties. Most of us will stay dry. There is a very slight chance we could get a pop-up storm tomorrow because look at this wind shift line. You got these blue arrows. That's a cold front that is rolling in, or I guess we can call it a little bit cooler front, but it slides through our southern counties during the afternoon, so we may get a pop-up thunderstorm or two, but our temperatures are still going to go way up there. 96 by noon, high temp right around 103 during the afternoon. Tomorrow night, a little bit cooler, a little bit more pleasant behind that front. We drop back into lower 70s. Southerly winds return again on Thursday, so the humidity a little bit worse, back into the triple digits once again. So heat indices tomorrow near 110 in our southern counties, near 100 in our northern counties, and then of course they're going to be up there again as we go into Thursday afternoon. So really no relief in sight. We're going to make alert days for the rest of the week. 103 tomorrow, 105 Thursday and Friday, 104 Saturday, 106 on Sunday, 107 Monday, 106 on Tuesday. So it just continues. If we get some relief, it's going to come late next week.
Wow, late next week is too far away.
It's a long ways away.
And that's an if
on
that. Thanks, Doug. Hey, the high heat isn't just impacting the 4 states and cities, including Memphis, Washington, New York. Temperatures are expected to feel like triple digits, and temperatures could top 110 in Dallas. That's a new record. Nearly 40 million people in parts of California, Arizona, and the Central Plains are also facing the dangerous temperatures. The National Weather Service is urging people to stay hydrated and limit their time outdoors. Good advice. Europe is also feeling the effects of this heat wave. Wildfires are raging across several countries, including Spain and France. It's so bad in France, in fact, meteorologists there are saying that country is facing a heat apocalypse. And in the UK, a London airport suspended flights yesterday after part of the tarmac melted under triple-digit temperatures. The tarmac's melting. That's hot. Coming up, a look at the toys expected to top Christmas wish lists. But first, we honor a local veteran. David Carney served in the U.S. Army in 1968 and 1969. The Joplin Native was stationed in Vietnam, and we are proud to salute Specialist David Carney, our four-state hero. You know, you can learn about lots of other heroes, more than 3,000 of them in our database from all across this area. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime. It's very simple. You just click on the link on our website. You know what that is, KOAMnewsnow.com. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a judge ordered an October trial for Twitter in its lawsuit against Elon Musk. Lawyers for Musk and Twitter appeared in court for the first time today. Twitter is suing the Tesla CEO to force him to complete his $44 billion deal to buy the social media company after he backed out. Today's hearing focused on how soon that case would go to trial, and the judge decided there will be a 5-day trial in October. Kind of hard to think of Christmas in this heat, I know, but Christmas is 5 months away, and companies are already putting out the latest toys that'll likely be on many kids' wish lists this year. Naomi Ruckham got a look.
From a drone that responds to hand gestures to a remote control shark, the latest toys were on display at this year's Toy Insider event in New York. Lori Schacht gave us a sneak peek, including this slime from Butter Clouds. But many of the items hitting store shelves are high-tech.
They're using technology in toys in ways that really help kids learn and grow.
That's right. That includes the Snorble, a personal robot for kids that can be a teacher.
What color is this?
Yellow.
Or help them sleep.
I had a bad dream.
It's okay. I'm here with you.
There's also the Vital Hero, a wearable band that gets kids moving. The interactive tracker combines gaming with physical activity.
This new device from Ruckus FX lets you make your own music with the flick of a wrist.
Siblings Camden and Kira enjoyed playing with many of the new toys, including a purse for kids.
How does it work?
It's a talking purse.
The purses are interactive. They can play music and also answer questions.
How much do you love this sweater?
There are also low-tech toys, including a line of dolls from the Netflix series Karma's World, and updates to plenty of familiar figures. But no matter what the toy is, prepare to pay more.
Because the prices of the toys are higher because of inflation.
Schacht says the good news is toy shortages that hit the market the past couple of years are easing. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
And Amazon is fighting back against fake reviews. The retail company says it's suing the administrators of more than 10,000 Facebook groups who allegedly brokered fake online reviews on Amazon Marketplace. Amazon says the admins are accused of recruiting people to write fake or misleading product reviews in exchange for cash or free items. The company believes the lawsuit will allow it to target fraudsters the company's human and automated systems have not been able to catch on their own. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an exclusive interview with the new director of the ATF. And then on KOAM News at 6, 18 people are now charged in a suspected Southwest Missouri meth ring. Plus, we're going to hear more from a Crawford County Commissioner on plans to fund new child care services. And Oklahoma health officials unveil new plans to reduce obesity in the state. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Kind of want to stay indoors if you can because it is really, really hot out there. It's going to stay that way.
Especially from about 2 p.m. until about 6 p.m. That is our hottest time of the day. 103 tomorrow, 105 is Thursday, Friday, the weekend, early next week. Maybe some relief. A cool 95 here in about 11 days.
That sounds ridiculous,
I
doesn't
know.
it? That would be 10 degrees cooler than it's going to be some days this week.
Crazy.
Wow. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.